Hello, my name is Nishad, and welcome to Pop Culture with Nishad, the ultimate destination for pop culture news, reviews, and analysis. Today, we'll be reviewing Transformers: Rise of the Beast. If you didn't know, Transformers: Rise of the Beast is the seventh movie in the Transformers live-action franchise, directed by Stephen Cable Jr. I recently watched the movie yesterday, and here are my thoughts. Before we get into the bulk of the review, I do want to mention that I am heavily biased towards the Bay films, as they were an integral part of my childhood. However, I will try to keep this review relatively unbiased. One thing I immediately noticed about this movie is the vibe it puts off compared to the Michael Bay movies. While Bay's films are dark and adult, this movie seems to be more lighthearted and emotional. The VFX and CGI reflect this as well, with Bay's designs being more clunky, dark, and aggressive, while Cable's designs seem to be more streamlined and bright. This movie is more similar to Bumblebee than it is to the other Transformers films, which makes sense timeline-wise. Getting into the plot, it is pretty straightforward. The movie follows an adventure-like story, taking place in Brooklyn, then to Peru. It is reminiscent of movies like Uncharted. I wouldn't say the plot is anything too crazy, but it is fun to see, and a new experience for many Transformers fans. One thing they kept similar to the Bay films was the action, as there is a lot of it spread throughout the film. However, the runtime of the movie and the pacing of the story does leave something to be desired. From my perspective, the movie seemed rushed, and the pacing was way too fast, especially towards the end of the film. While other Transformers films are around 2 hours and 30 minutes, this one is around 2 hours. I feel as though they could have made the movie longer and slowed it down a bit. The majority of my complaints about this film reside in the character development. While certain characters have tons of lines and scenes, like Optimus Prime and Mirage, others aren't so lucky. I did expect certain characters, like Ronox and Cheetor, to get less time in the spotlight because there are so many new characters introduced, but it is still very jarring how little backstory characters received. It really was a shame, as I would have loved to see more of them, and their stories, as the Maxwells were the main selling point of this movie. Even the villains, being the Terracons, could have done more. For how menacing and alien their designs look, they weren't that interesting other than one-off villains. This movie kind of feels like a Marvel movie, more specifically Endgame, as many characters were introduced, but not much was done with them. The human protagonists of this film were done well, however. Noah might be one of the best protagonists in the franchise, having emotion and heart as well as being a good fighter. Elena is a step down from Noah. She has less development and time in the spotlight, but she still has an important role in the film. Bonus points to Reek for being one of the funnier characters in the film. On the topic of music, I think Jungnick's Bontemps score was actually pretty good. It had Peruvian and tribal elements that I did enjoy. However, the expectations set by Steve Jablonsky's score for the original Transformers movie just cannot be met. It's a good score, just not very memorable, and nothing beats the '07 arrival to Earth. So, in conclusion, what do I think about Transformers: Rise of the Beast? Overall, the film is a pretty solid movie. Transformers fans will likely have more complaints, but for new timers, this is a great way to get introduced to the franchise. The plot is solid, protagonists are developed, and the music is also pretty great. For a reboot to the franchise, they handled this movie pretty well. I'd recommend anyone who is interested to watch it, as it's a pretty fun experience, and supporting the box office can help ensure the future of the franchise. I can't say I enjoyed it more than the Bay films, but as I mentioned before, I am a little biased. Overall, if you enjoyed Bumblebee and are looking for a fun time, this movie is definitely for you. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on Transformers: Rise of the Beast in the comment below. Drop a like while you're down there too. Thank you.